you've said that Israel's launching targeted strikes, but I think by any objective measure, the Israeli intelligence failed to see the October 7th attack. Why does the Pentagon have so much confidence in Israeli intelligence to launch precise, accurate strikes in Gaza, given the failure of its intelligence community to see the threat to Israel leading up to the October 7th attack?
Well, I'm not going to get into specific intelligence and what the Israelis are or what they can see now, but of course we are working with them when it comes to hostage rescue and recovery. We feel confident that we continue to share intelligence with the Israelis. We feel confident that they will be deliberate in their targeting and not target innocent civilians. I'm going to move on. Okay.
On what basis do you have such confidence in that, given the intelligence? I think what in the consistent theme you're hearing in these questions is that the U.S. is saying civilians won't be targeted, and yet we can't get a clear answer on what it's doing to make sure that civilians weren't targeted in this case. And I'm just looking for some clarity on that.
Yep. So I'm not going to get into private conversations that the Secretary has with Minister Gallant. I can tell you that what I've heard consistently from the Secretary and from this administration is that we expect all democracies, like Israel, to uphold the law of war. That's something that's incredibly important. That's something that sets us apart from whether it's other governments, other terrorist organizations, and that is a consistent theme that the Secretary brings up in his calls, and not just the Secretary, but across this administration. Yeah, James.
So, just given on the same subject that we've been talking about, is it the Defense Department's position, and by extension the White House, that we trust the Israelis more than we trust the Ukrainians? Because as you've said, we have not put preconditions on the Israelis. We expect them to follow the law of war. Yet we have put conditions on the Ukrainians, particularly as it relates to cluster munitions. They are required to tell us where they've used them. They're required to keep a list of how they've used them and what targets they have had. So do we trust the Israelis more than we trust the Ukrainians?
I wouldn't look at it like that. I would say that both Ukraine and Israel are engaged in two very different wars right now. I would say that the way that the Ukrainians are employing the depicums on the battlefield is responsible. They are keeping track of where they are going. That is something for their own safety that they are doing in order to, when they start clearing those, when they start taking back their territory, to avoid further civilian casualties, to avoid any type of cluster munition that did not go off. That is for their security as well. And Russians have been also using cluster munitions on the battlefield as well. Let me finish. So can I just finish? Can I just finish really quick? Okay, I'm just going to finish this really quick. So again, Israel is one of our oldest, longest partners and allies in the region. We are working with them very closely when it comes to providing them the security assistance that they need. I think, James, we have to remember that this attack is considered their 9/11. They have every right and should respond to the terrorists that killed innocent people. Again, in our conversations, we have been very clear that that the Israelis, when engaging, continue to uphold the law of war, that they allow civilians, innocent civilians, safe passage. But again, we have to remember that they were attacked viciously on October 7th. I'm going to move on.